Hello music friends, welcome back to Rescott Creative. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about my favorite violin books. As you can tell, I am a huge book aficionado, and as an author that's kind of goes with the territory. But I wanted to start by talking about my favorite violin method books because we're at the start of a new school year and many of you may be purchasing your repertoire for this semester. So of course, to start out with, you can't go without your good Suzuki book. And I'm so excited because Hilary Hahn recently made recordings of the first 3 Suzuki books for violin. And I think they just came out in July. So I highly recommend checking these out. And I have all these links in my blog post about beginning violin method books. You can check them all out. So please look at the Suzuki book and listen to the new recordings by Hilary Hahn. You can't go wrong. Now, when I have young students, I also like to supplement with this Songs for Little Players by F. Sharian. And this can give them some extra music, especially in the pre-twinkle or early twinkle phase. And it's really big notes so that they can actually start to sight read, again, depending on your philosophy, at how early they should sight read. Or you can even just have them learn these by ear if you want to play them for the students. So they can play several songs like Jingle Bells, Mary Had a Little Lamb. These are always a big hit. Also for young students, I love the Rhythm Train books. And I'm actually going to do a whole post on these in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned. Now, if you have a young student who needs things broken down into even smaller chunks than just the Suzuki book, you can also recommend they buy a step-by-step book. Now, some of my older students don't always need this, or some of the parents don't. However, as a teacher, this is invaluable. There are actually 6 volumes, I believe, at least 6. So we have 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B. So in this case, some of the valuable things about this book is that it actually shows the different finger patterns, so which fingers are close to each other. In the step-by-step series, they also show some of the vibrato techniques that students need to learn. So it's very helpful for me to have on hand as an excellent resource. This summer, I took the class about Black composers by Shanoa Alamu, and it was amazing. If she offers it again, I highly recommend it. So I purchased this book, Music by Black Composers, arranged by Rachel Barton Pine. And this volume is for beginner level students, and it can really help them be introduced to some of these famous composers that may have been overlooked in the past, but now are having a resurgence. So I'm so excited to add this to my collection. Now, as my students get either a little older and want to work more on their sight reading, or if I have older beginners, I definitely recommend supplementing with some kind of a traditional method book. A few years ago, I started using Essential Elements because this is what the local orchestra was using in the public schools. And I really like it. It takes, note by note and then gives them snippets of different famous orchestral works, but maybe just like one line as opposed to obviously a full score. Recently, I've switched more to Sound Innovations because that's what our local youth symphony uses in their starter strings program. And it does pretty much the same thing. Like I know they have the opening, they have one line of the Beethoven Violin Concerto, which is fun to introduce students to. And they also go through different musical terminology, like what is a concerto and things like that. I mean, I say it's about a toss-up between these two, so kind of depending on what your local orchestra is doing. However, at the moment, because many students don't have access to their local orchestra, I think it's even more important that we as private teachers try to supplement a little bit with the types of things they would normally get in the classroom. Thanks again for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked learning about the violin method books and would like to stay tuned for more violin content, please hit subscribe and like, and I will see you next time.